It seems like almost every week there's a new report of a high-profile person accused of sexual harassment.
When someone comes up to you and makes you feel uncomfortable, I guess.
Invading personal space, yelling at you on the street.
I was scared. I was young. I was a teenager when it happened.
Harvard child psychologist Rick Weisbord studies the attitudes towards sex and sexual harassment. His team surveyed 3,000 students age 18 to 25 from diverse backgrounds. Researchers found that 87% had experienced catcalls, unwanted advances, or name-calling. And when it comes to sexual harassment, there's a disconnect.
In our research, a lot of boys think catcalling is flattering to girls. A lot of girls say it's offensive and it's offensive to them and it's frightening to them.
Researchers also found 75% of the young women they surveyed did not discuss sexual harassment with parents or teachers.
This is also something that's pervasive, more pervasive than bullying, and we're really not talking about it.
Weisbord says parents need to define sexual harassment for their kids. Use popular media to start the talk. If a song comes on the radio with degrading lyrics, talk about the negative impacts of those terms. If there's a misogynistic scenario played out on TV, call attention to it. Explain the serious implications surrounding that type of humor and how it can have a lasting effect when it's considered okay. It's not something to joke about with peers.
Talking to your kids about sexual harassment starts with talking about sex. It can make you uncomfortable, which can make it easier to avoid. But knowing how much you want to protect your children can be enough to shake off that discomfort. There's a lot of support and education to help you discuss these topics. And experts say, talk early, talk often. Bottom line, take a proactive approach. For HealthLink, I'm Amity Addrisi.